Rob, what's our first main topic today?
Our first main topic comes to us from Robert Nacci. Hi, crew. According to an interview with Deadline, Bond producer Michael G. Wilson said that casting has not started for the new 007, no matter what others tell you. However, in that same interview, he revealed that the next Bond will be older, already a seasoned veteran, not a young rookie as in Casino Royale. What do you think of his comments, and do you think this actually means they already have their pick in mind? Thanks so much.
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, Robert. And look, first thing I'll say is this. I do not believe, there's two things. I don't think they have their new James Bond, but I don't believe they haven't started thinking about it. And I don't believe they haven't started putting together a list of names. That I don't believe at all. You're simply being negligent in your responsibilities. They're at least done that. 100% they have. Now, the question about who is the next James Bond seems to always be the number one question in Hollywood. You know, who's the next James Bond, as much as who's the next Batman, always seems to be the big question. But they do seem to narrow it down a little bit for us here, and I do believe it when they say it. Now, this is what he said specifically. This, of course, is Bond producer Michael G. Wilson, who said the following. We've tried looking at younger people in the past. Sorry, Tom Holland. But trying to visualize it doesn't work. Remember, Bond's already a veteran. He's had some experience. He's a person who has been through the wars, so to speak. He's probably been in the SAS or something. He isn't some kid out of high school that you can bring in and start off. Again, I think he's really talking directly about the Tom Holland conversation. Anyway, that's why it works for a 30-something. All right. If this is accurate, it does kind of rule out certain names that have come up as far as going for the mostly younger kind of lean on it. But it also seems to disqualify some other big names that have been out there. Idris Elba, for example. Taylor, if you can look up how old Idris Elba is, I know he's over 40. So, Idris Elba's been a big name, but he's out. How old is he?
50.
He's 50. So that probably rules out Idris Elba, even though he would have been a pretty good one. It does. I'm just going to throw this out there. It technically means my man Henry Cavill is still in the running, because at 39, Henry Cavill is a 30-something.
Yep.
And they may or not be rigid with that definition, by the way, too. But listen, I got to say, I like this philosophy, because I am not interested in seeing, a young James Reginald Bond. I know that's not his real middle name. I'm not interested in seeing a young James.
I like that you gave him the name Reginald, though.
Everybody in school calls him Reggie. So yeah. I don't like a young Reggie, fresh into the academy going, I can't wait to be a spy, Mum. I don't. That was a horrible British accent, by the way.
You're a spy,
never do that again.
Reggie.
I will never do that again. But
Crikey.
I don't want that. I want to see Bond at the height of his Bondness. Right? When I turn on a Bond film, I want to see a James Bond at the height of his powers. So I like the idea of a 30-something. Plus, I get it. The one thing we've said about Idris Elba and others that have kind of been in the same boat as him is like, would he make a pretty badass Bond? Sure. Can he be Bond for 15 years? Probably not. So going for somebody a bit younger than that, somebody in the 30s, because Daniel Craig has proved you can be Bond into your mid-50s. So I like this philosophy. I don't believe they have their Bond yet, but I do believe he's lying and saying they haven't started putting together lists, because you damn well know they have.
Sure.
But anyway, Rob, as the big James Bond aficionado in the room, what do you think about this apparent philosophy they're taking? Is they're looking for a 30-something, somebody who's already got some experience and been through some of the wars. How do you feel about that?
I think that's exactly what they should do. I mean, what Michael Wilson is saying is perfectly reasonable to me. And, somebody in their mid-30s, that's a 15-year stretch. They've talked about they want to have Bond. He'll be 50. If it's, let's just go at 35. You've got at least 15 years to make Bond movies. And I think the new Bond, they leaned into continuity with Daniel Craig. I think the new Bond needs to concentrate more on a Mission Impossible.
I agree.
Classic Bond vibe, where it's a mission per movie, whatever. So each film
and honestly, continuity schmontinuity,
yeah,
as far as I'm concerned.
Standalone movies, single missions, in and out. And
it's like my dating life. Sorry. Please continue.
No, I just think that's look. I would. Yesterday, obviously, was James Bond's 60th birthday on film,
right? Yeah.
And all of the movies dropped in UHD on Amazon, and I was going through and sampling some of my favorite Bonds just to see what they look like. They look great, by the way. And I just realized how much I missed. I think the continuity hampered the Daniel Craig Bond movies because it always seemed tacked on. It didn't seem like they had a story from the very beginning mapped out. And I missed those standalone Bond films. I missed, at the end, you really felt satisfied because it was over. And somebody you'd have like the prime minister saying, "My God, what's Bond doing?" I think he's attempting re-entry.
That was a better accent than mine. That was much better than mine.
I mean, like at the end of Moonraker, and then
I'm sorry, but the best ending of any Bond movie, and it's one of the worst Bond movies, but it's the Pierce Brosnan with what's her name?
World Is Not Enough. Christmas Jones.
And what's the name of the actress?
Denise Richards.
Denise Richards, who literally plays a nuclear scientist named Dr. Christmas.
Dr. Christmas Jones.
And the movie ends with some, whether it's a Acapulco or something like that, and the camera pans inside, and they've just finished having sex. They're laying in bed, and Pierce Brosnan rolls over and says, "And I always thought Christmas only came once a year." I'm just like, okay. And I'm like,
actually, that movie's not bad, but that ending is terrible.
That what are you talking about? That's the greatest James Bond ending ever.
There is some continuity, like the Connery stuff. There was a slight continuity with.
There was some, yeah,
but like one didn't lead to the next. They were into. I know. What you mean.
I mean, Honor Majesty's Secret Service leads directly into Diamonds Forever. Two different people play Bond. So there are certain actors that came back. Like M and.
But they could be like I know what you mean. They could still be standalone films.
Yeah.
You take them on their own.
Like I would like to see Ben Whishaw continue to play Q.
Yeah.
I mean, and look, Dame Judi Dench played M in both the
across
Brosnan
multiple.
era. Yeah,
I mean, why not? We had the same Q for decades.
Yeah, so I would love to see because I loved him as Q.
Yeah, and I thought he was a very interesting Q. And Ralph Fiennes
as M. Yes,
as M. Yes. I mean, yeah. I mean, you just but wait, James Bond died in the last. You don't. Who cares? You literally just start the movie. Hello, Bond, and you just ignore it because it's a standalone movie. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about that? They're saying they're going to be looking for 30-somethings, not too young, probably not too old, but somewhere in that neighborhood. I personally feel like it's the right approach. Rob does too. How do you guys feel about it? Does it narrow down your list about who you think might be the next James Bond? Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of this video, MeUndies. Now, guys, I admit for all my life, I have been a low quality underwear wearing kind of guy. I always just got the cheapest pack of underwear I could find because I never really thought about it. Well, that all changed when I started wearing MeUndies. They are simply the softest and most comfortable underwear I have ever owned, and I will never go back. And guys, spooky season is here, and so is the latest Halloween collection by MeUndies. Warning though, it's scary soft. MeUndies is back with a new limited edition prints like Jack Attack, No Body Like You, and Spell It Out. So go on and grab undies, socks, bralettes, and more made from their feels like you have nothing on micromodal fabric. And if you need a last minute costume, be lazy and transform into a spooky skeleton with their loungewear set, Lazy Bones. Guys, the scary soft hype is real. If you're not impressed with MeUndies, your first pair is on us. That's a promise. To get 20% off your first order and free standard shipping on US orders, go to MeUndies.com/Campea. That's MeUndies.com/Campea.